has entered this world in the Harinam form. He's entered the material existence in the form of the holy name. Once Srila Prabhupada was asked by one of the devotees, is Krishna here? Krishna left, is Krishna here? Prabhupada said he is already here. He's already here in the form of the holy name. So holy name is non-different from Krishna himself. But we do alasya. We are distracted, and that's why we are not able to see the Lord, including me, right? I haven't seen the Lord, right? So including me, but the Shastra says he's already here and he's in the form of the holy name. And that's all you need to know. You don't need to know any other thing. And then we saw why Vidushi left, because Krishna was blasphemed, right? Krishna was insulted by Dhritarashtra and the rest of them when he came for Sandhana. And being a pure devotee of the Lord, he cannot take that. He felt some impurities touched him because he heard insults against the Lord. To purify that, he left that place, right? And then Vidurji comes back. Why does Vidurji come back? There are two reasons. One is that to actually deliver his brother Dhritarashtra. And then he knows that Krishna is leaving, and that's why he comes, so that he wants to take away Dhritarashtra out of that material entanglement that he is in, and he wants to give him that perfection of life, and that's why he comes. And when he comes, like we discussed last time, everybody is happy because an elder from the family, when they come, and when you're going through a lot of distress, just by serving the elders, you will feel more happy. The distress in your life, the loss in your life is diminished when you serve the elders in the family, right? The affection that they show towards you and the reciprocation you have towards them helps you forget and get past those distresses in life. That is why everybody was happy. And then Maharaj Yudhishthir says, wow, what happened? What did you see? And everything. And then Vidurji starts giving his instructions, right? And he talks a lot about how there is a big history of how Yudhishthir's Rajya was like heavenly planet, right? All the heavenly planet people wanted to come and live in Yudhishthir Maharaj's ruling, because he was a pure devotee. He did very little, the basic minimum to run the country he did, or the world he did. But the rest of the time, he was completely engaged in the service of the Lord. He made sure that he gave responsibility to all his brothers, to all his ministers, so his work becomes less and he can completely engage in devotional service. And many times Prabhupada writes this in the purport that, when we have good families, we're good position and everything, we think everything is done. Yudhishthir Maharaj did not have to do anything because he was king of the planet itself, right? He could have enjoyed, but that enjoying mentality never came to him. His enjoyment is service to the Lord. So that is what we have to take away. Being the king of the planet, when he is trying to do that, what are we? We are dust, right? So we should start thinking in those directions. When we are extremely happy sometimes, or even a little bit of happy, what happens? Our japa goes bad. Our religious principle goes out of the window. We are completely in that happiness and we forget the Lord. That should not be the case. These are lessons for us. We have to learn that, and although Yudhishthir Maharaj had so much, he said, okay, minimum only I will do. He didn't make good food every day, eat food and sleep. No, he didn't do that. He was always engaged in the Lord's service. Right? We did all these things, and then I think we had stopped here. Then Vidurji starts off with the instructions. I think we had completed this also. See, there were many people in that sabha, but the instructions were mainly directed to Dhritarashtra Maharaj. It was not for the rest of them. It was mainly directed to Dhritarashtra. He says, you are so much in the bodily concept. See, before you wanted to rule, you were so envious of Pandu becoming the king. And then when he died, you took over because you are blind from the birth. They gave the Rajya to Pandu. And as soon as Pandu died, you took up, and you were so impartial to the sons of Pandu also. You did not take care of them. You're supposed to be the brother of or the uncle of those children, but you always were supporting your own child. Even though you knew your child was doing a bad thing, you supported adharma. And even now, you have the false identity that you are the uncle of that king who's ruling, who Yudhishthir Maharaj, and you are sitting and enjoying life. You're getting all the services done, you're taking care of yourself, but you're not thinking in the long term. Then finally, he goes on to give instruction. This is the part, right? See, Kala Rupa, we will come to that in the Bhagavad Gita also. Krishna manifests himself in the material world in the universal form, which is the Kala Rupa. What is that Kala Rupa? That Kala Rupa is a devouring thing. It will destroy the entire creation. There is nothing which can escape from the clutches of time. Krishna comes in life of everybody as death manifested. How can he bring death? Through time. Kala is also manifestation of Krishna only. It is also the energy of Krishna only. And when it comes, it will actually devour anybody. It doesn't matter whichever position you are in. What position you are in, what riches you have in life, how much of support system you have in your life, it doesn't matter. For Kala, it is going to take away everything. So let's quickly read the purport a little bit, the translation and the purport. This frightful situation cannot be redeemed by any person in this material world. What frightful situation? All of us will go through that frightful situation. There may not be many frightful situations which are common to all of us. There is one frightful situation which is common to all of us. What is that? That is death. So, and usually why Prabhupada is writing remedied here is, whenever calamity or distress used to happen to Dhritarashtra, Maharaj Dhritarashtra, he used to call Vidurji for consulting. He used to say, I want to consult with you. My son is trying to do this. What should I do? Vidurji always gave him good counseling, but Dhritarashtra never took any of those counseling. So here also, when he's trying to tell him death is approaching, Kali Yuga is trying to come, he tried to remediate that. He said, okay, what can I do? You are a counselor, you know everything, tell me what can I do? And that's why Prabhupada writes in the purport and translation saying that death cannot be remedied. It cannot remedy death. Nobody can remedy death. And that's why he gave this purport or translation. He says, this frightful situation, which is nothing but death, cannot be remedied by any person in this material world. Everybody, including Brahma, has to give up his life. Right? Even Brahma is not protected by this frightful situation. My Lord, it is a supreme personality of Godhead as eternal time, Kala, that has approached us all. See, he's saying, my Lord, he's calling to Dhritarashtra, he's saying to Dhritarashtra that the supreme personality of Godhead in the form of time is coming, he is approaching all of us. There is no superior power which can check the cruel hands of death. No one wants to die, however acute the source of bodily sufferings may be. So this is very important. Sometimes we think, somehow I want to live. I don't have leg. I have a illness. I cannot walk. I cannot enjoy. Still, little more time I want to live, right? However cruel our bodily situation is, our present situation in the society, in the family itself is very bad. Nobody wants to take care of us. Right? And still we'll say, 1 more year, 5 more years, I want to live. You can never accept death. Nobody can accept death because everybody is scared, right? Old age is the notice. This is very nice. Old age is the notice of the arrival of death, served by cruel time. So it's a warning. Whenever you are about to wake up in the morning, you have a snooze button, right? You have an alert mechanism in your phone. That 5 minutes before 5 o'clock, I want my mobile to give me a warning. It is like that. That 5 o'clock is our death time. 5 minutes before is the old age. It is a warning for all of us. It is trying to wake us up that death is going to come very soon. And no one can refuse to accept either summon calls or the supreme judgment of eternal time. See, it is very difficult for us to accept it. It is very difficult. We want to just snooze it and get away with it. We cannot. Nobody can help us during that time. This is explained before Dhritarashtra because he might ask Vidura to find out some remedy. This is what I was saying. He is always asking some remedy to Vidura trying to say, how can I circumvent this situation? Here Prabhupada writes, there is no way to circumvent. Vidurji had no other means other than holding on to the lotus feet of the Lord. Prabhupada also gives an example of Hiranyakashipu. Why Hiranyakashipu? Hiranyakashipu was so powerful, he had conquered all three planetary systems. He was ruling not just the earth, he had controlled all three planetary systems, and he had done lot of austerities, and Brahmaji gave him the vara of whatever austerities. But when he asked in the beginning, he asked for immortality. Brahma laughs at him and he says, I myself am not immoral. How can I benedict you that? So nobody, see, we think that, okay, that powerful minister, he has very good doctors, he can go to the US for treatment, he can, no, nothing can stop us. Whether rich or poor, all of us have to face that music, right? Here, Hiranyakashipu, it is said when he walked outside the house, right? If it is too hot, he used to look at the clouds and it used to rain because he used to control the Varuna Deva, everybody he used to control. So he used to control everybody. So that kind of a person had to face death. What are we, right? Further instructions. Let's quickly read through the instructions because Narad Muni is going to come next. Whoever is under the influence of supreme Kala, eternal time, must surrender to his most dear life. And what to speak of other things such as wealth, honor, children, land, and home. Then your father, brother, well-wishers, and sons are all dead. So he's telling, your father died, your brothers died, all your well-wishers died in the battle of Kurukshetra. Your own sons, they've all passed away. You yourself have expended the major portion of your life. Your body is now overtaken by invalidity and you are living in the home of another. See, it is very it is against the, your will, it is very low of you to just go and live in somebody's house as charity. Why don't you just give up all these things is what he's saying. Then in the battle of Kurukshetra, his 100 sons and his grandsons all died along with all the well-wishers like Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya, Karna, and many other kings and friends. So he had lost all men and money, and now he was living at the mercy of his nephew, whom he had put into a lot of trouble for various types of trouble. See, somebody whom you've troubled, now you are under their shelter. It is not good for you. Just give up all these things. No friend, no children, no father, no brother, no state, and no one else can protect a person who is not protected. So this is very important. See, you're actually going to protection to a person whom you've insulted all your life. This is a life lesson for us. See, nobody can protect us. Gajendra, in his prayers, Madrik Prapanna Pashupala, he says one of the prayers, there are three things if somebody has to protect us. What are those three things? One, they should be having the capacity to protect us. And nobody has the capacity to protect us because they themselves are in distress and they themselves cannot get away from death. So they cannot protect us. Two, they should be aware of our situation. Sometimes people are not aware of our situation. As Paramatma sitting in our heart, Krishna is aware of our situation. So he can protect us. Three, right? Although they know our situation, although they have the capacity to protect, some people will not have the will to protect us, right? So who has all these three things? Only Krishna has all these three things. And that's why Gajendra calls out to Krishna and he gives these three reasons. And he says, only a person who knows, who has a capacity, who knows what I'm going to through, and who has the will to protect me, can protect me. So nobody other than Krishna can protect us, right? Next, what happens is, after listening to all these instructions, our Dhritarashtra leaves the home. Let's quickly read through this. Where is my well-wisher uncle Vidura? So they've already left the home, and then Yudhishthir Maharaj is searching for Dhritarashtra. Where is my well-wisher uncle Vidura and mother Gandhari, who is very afflicted due to all her sons' demise? My uncle Dhritarashtra was also very mortified due to the death of all his sons and grandsons. Undoubtedly, I am very ungrateful. Did he therefore take my offenses? very seriously, and along with his wife drown himself in the Ganges. So he's feeling very bad. Where is my uncle? My uncle was feeling distressed because he lost everything in the battle. Did I ill-treat him? Because of that, did he give up his life with his wife, mother Gandhari? When my father Pandu fell down and we were all small children, these two uncles gave us protection from all kinds of calamities. Look at Yudhishthir's very nice, heart. He says, when my dad died or when my father died, my uncles took care of me. Where are they? They are my well-wishers. Although it is the other way around, right? I mean, they were very jealous. They were trying to kill them. He says they took care of me. Where are they? He says, and the Pandavas were very close to Vidurji. Vidurji was very close to them, and that's why they are Vidurji and Dhritarashtra. Although Dhritarashtra did not like them, they always respected him. Then Sutta Goswami said, because of compassion and mental agitation, Sanjaya, not having seen his own master Dhritarashtra, was aggrieved and could not properly speak to reply to Maharaj Yudhishthir. All these questions are actually being asked by Yudhishthir Maharaj to Sanjaya. Sanjaya is always a companion to Dhritarashtra, and that's why Dhritarashtra. Yudhishthir Maharaj approaches Sanjaya because he's always with him. He says, you're a charioteer, you're always with him. Do you know where he is? And Sanjaya is feeling very bad that, Dhritarashtra did not even tell him anything. He never tells any of them anything, because that was one of the instructions of Vidurji. Don't tell anybody anything, because the minute you tell them, they will try to stop you. So don't tell anything. Let's just leave, he says. Then first he slowly pacified his mind by intelligence, and wiping away his tears and thinking of the feet of his master Dhritarashtra, he began to reply to Yudhishthir Maharaj. This is what Sanjaya says. My dear descendant of the Kuru dynasty, I have no information of the determination of your two uncles and Gandhari. O king, I have been cheated by those great souls. He says he's been cheated because they didn't tell him anything. They just left without even saying goodbye to him, right? And that's why he feels they are cheating him, or they cheated him. And then when all this is happening and Yudhishthir Maharaj is feeling so bad, Narad Ji comes there. While Sanjaya was thus speaking, Sri Narada, the powerful devotee of the Lord, appeared on the scene carrying his tamburu. Maharaj Yudhishthir and his brothers received him properly and by getting up from their seats and offering obeisances. No matter what kind of a distress we are or in happiness we are, this is a life lesson for us to respect our spiritual masters. Sometimes we forget when we enter the temple or when we see them, we are so concocted within our own entanglement of distress and happiness that we forget to pay obeisances. Here, although they were all in so much distress, they stand up and give their obeisance to Narad Ji. Maharaj Yudhishthir said, "O godly personality, I do not know where my two uncles have gone, nor can I find my ascetic aunt, who is grief-stricken by the loss of all her sons." He's feeling so bad because he feels their heart. See, Yudhishthir Maharaj is Ajata Shatru. There is no Shatrus for him. Why? It is not just a birad or name given to him. From his heart, he feels everybody is their friend. He feels nobody as enemy. He cannot take anybody as enemy. He is that kind of a person. It is not just given. It is a very difficult virtue. But once we practice Krishna consciousness, automatically, it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, that once we start practicing devotional service seriously, all these qualities will manifest in us. The demigods will start coming and living in your heart, in your body, once, because you're doing service. All your senses are purified, your mind is purified, your intelligence is purified. Anywhere you see in your body, there is only Krishna. And that time, all these qualities will manifest. And that's why the Pandavas are very, very great devotees. And for them to have these qualities is not just like that they practiced every day. Okay, everybody is my friend, nobody is my... No, it is not like that. Because they are such great devotees of the Lord, all these qualities manifest in them. You are like a captain of a ship in a great ocean, and you can direct us to our destination. Thus address the godly personality, Devrishi Narad, greatest of the. See, this is a very, very important thing. I didn't actually capture the purport. In the purport, you'll see more that a guru is actually considered the captain of a ship. What is a ship? The ship is your body, right? And the guru will actually give you instructions how to steer the ship, which way to go in this great ocean of samsara sagara, right? That is a simile here what they've given. So the guru is actually, he knows where the high tides are, how you need to ride the high tides. What is the high tides? The distress and the reversals that come in your life. He knows how to go over it, get past it, and still be in bhakti. How to use your body to get to the other side of the shore. What is the other side of the shore? The paripurnata, getting into the spiritual world. Otherwise, that boat, even though Krishna has made a beautiful boat and he's given it to you, there's no use. The boat will sink and you will get another boat, or something else will happen. You're still in this ocean. You're not getting out of this ocean. That's why a guru is usually called a captain of the ship, and this body is called as the boat that we should use to go to the other part of the ocean. Shri Naradji said, O pious king, do not lament for anyone, for everyone is under the control of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, all living beings and their leaders carry on worship to be well protected. It is He who brings them together and disperses them. This is very, very beautiful. I'll quickly read the translation, purport a little bit, and then we'll get into the discussion. Ordinarily, one cannot change the course of one's due happiness and distance by plan. Everyone has to accept them as they come under the subtle arrangement of Kala or invincible time. There is no use trying to counteract them. The best thing is, therefore, that one should endeavor to achieve salvation. So here, Naraji is giving a very, very important lesson. What is that? Nobody can protect another person. Don't lament. You are thinking that you are the greatest protector. There are two incidents where this comes in Bhagavatam. One incident is when Chitraketu Maharaj loses his baby son, and his wife is crying out, and she's actually calling out to the Lord and asking, why did you do this, Lord? Why did you do this? Naradji comes there also. I think there is one more Muni, I forgot, the Agastya Muni, I think. Agastya Muni, I think. There are two people who come to rescue Chitraketu Maharaj, and then they actually bring back the dead son. Naradji brings back the dead son. The dead son comes and says, oh, your father is crying. Naradji says, your parents are crying for you. The baby, or the soul of the baby, comes back and says, which father of mine, which mother of mine? I have many fathers and many mothers, and I have gone through many lives. So who are we, right? We think we are protecting. That is not correct. It is only the Adokshaja who can protect all of us. The second instance is Prahlad Maharaj says, right, that, when child is born, parents think they will protect them from everything, every bad thing. That is the heart of a parent. That is good. But who are we to protect? We cannot protect ourselves. So that overly thinking that I'm in control, no disease should come to my child, no harm. It is good to wish that, but we are not in control. And that is what Naraji is telling Yudhishthir Maharaj, you think you are the king, so you'll take care of your uncle and aunt. You'll make sure they will not get any distress. Who are you? We are all under the plan of the Lord. The Lord has his own plan. That is what he says, right? And when Maya comes and hits us so hardly, we have nobody. Even the people who, when things happen to a child, who is there to protect? Can we protect our children from diseases? No, we cannot. It is only Krishna who can protect, right? We call out to Krishna when something goes wrong, protect my child. And then he says another beautiful thing. As a player sets up and disperses his anything according to his own sweet will, so the supreme will of the Lord, bringing men together and separates them. This is very, very beautiful. Let me read the purport and then we'll get into the discussion. The Supreme Lord is present as a localized Paramatma in the heart of every living being, as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita 13.23, and therefore he knows everything of our activities in every stage of our lives. He awards reactions of our actions by placing us in some particular place. A rich man gets his son born with a silver spoon in his mouth, but the child who came as a rich man's son deserved such a place, and therefore he is placed there by the will of the Lord. And at a particular moment, when the child has been removed from that place, he is also carried by the will of the Supreme. Even if the child or the father does not wish to be separated from the happy relation, the same thing happens in the case of poor man also. Neither rich nor poor man has control over this, over the such meetings or separations of living beings. This is a very, very, very powerful statement. So when Krishna tries to bring us close together, whether in a relationship, whether it is a personal relationship or professional relationship or acquaintance, it is by the will of the Lord that we come together. Again, by the will of the Lord only we get separated, right? We cannot control that. Here, I think it is in Chaitanya Charitamrita or in Bhagavatam itself. I'm so sorry, there are a lot of cop cars outside. I was just watching that. So here, Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think, or Kunti Maharani actually says this. When there is rain, right? When there is a lot of rain and the rain has stopped, leaves from different places and twigs from different places or paper or all those things, they all come together. Have you seen? They are all from different places, but they all come together, right? Again, when the wind blows, they all get dispersed. Like that, our life is. Who should be your wife? Who should be your child? Who should be your parent? It is all predestined by the Lord, by your karma pala, and it is brought together. Again, it will be taken away. At the time of death, it is all taken away by the will of the Lord. So he's giving instructions to Yudhishthir Maharaj, saying that, okay, Dhritarashtra was there for some time with you, but now he cannot be with you. He's been taken away, and you're not anybody to control. Who are you to control him? They're saying that you will protect him all the time. That's not going to happen. Therefore, give up your anxiety due to ignorance of the self. You are now thinking of how they are, I think, who are helpless, poor creatures will exist without you. See, this is an attitude of proprietorship. How will they exist without me? We also think, right? Sometimes, oh, my child is in school. My child doesn't know how to eat. How will he eat without me? Only I'm, no, Krishna. Every food, that morsel which goes into our mouth is Krishna's will, right? And Prabhupada writes in the purport very beautifully. He calls the Lord is known as Bhuta Bhrit, one who gives protection to all living beings. One should discharge his duties only, for no one but the Supreme Lord can give us the protection. See, it's very beautiful. Prabhupada knows us in and out, each one of us. He writes this beautiful statement. What does he write? See, people misconstrue things. They think, oh, Prabhupada is saying, don't take care of your family, just run away because Krishna will take care. No, one should discharge his duties. Yes, you have to take care of your children. You have to take care of your spouse. You have to take care of your... How much Krishna has given you the capacity to that level. Krishna through you will take care of them sometimes. Krishna through somebody else will do something else. But he has given you this position as a mother, as a father, as a parent, as a child. Do your duty. The rest, give it up to Krishna. Here it is a very beautiful thing. I haven't captured everything. Narad Muni starts from the creation time all the way till the end of Kali Yuga. He's going to give instructions. But I've captured only few. This gross material body made up of 5 elements is already under the control of eternal time, action, and modes of material nature. How then can it, being already in the jaws of the serpent, protect others? So all of us, when we are born, how are we born? We are born inside the mouth of a serpent. That serpent is a Kala. When you are 20 years old, it has come till your knee. And when you are 50 years old, it has come till your stomach. When it is 70 years old, it has come till the neck, right? Another 10 more years and you are done. or 20 more years, you're done. So we are all born inside the mouth of a serpent, which is a Kala. That's why he says all of us are made up of material thing only. You are not going to stop existing. The you will continue to exist. Only this body, which is made up of 5 elements, will be dropped here after 100 years, and you will move forward. The Atma will move forward. That is what he's saying. That Supreme Personality of God, Lord Sri Krishna, in the guise of all-devouring time, Kala Rupa, has now descended to the earth to eliminate the envious from the world. So Krishna comes again and again, and he also comes in the form of Kala Rupa to devour everything. At the end of Brahma's one day, he will devour, he will destroy everything. And that is what he is saying, right? But why is he saying? Because Kali Yuga is coming. That's why he is saying all these things. The Lord has already, why is specifically this devouring this one? Because Dhritarashtra is going to die very soon. And that's why he's saying that. The Lord has already performed his duties to help the demigods, and he's awaiting the rest. You Pandavas may wait as long as the Lord is here on the earth. He is giving instructions. See, as the Lord, why did he manifest? So, because Dharma, to establish Dharma. You are under the clutches of Adharma. To establish Dharma, to vanquish all the Asuras like the Kamsa, the Jarasandha, Shishupala, all those people are taken care now. All the Asuras are taken care now. Now he has done his duty. Now he is ready to lift his leg and move from this earth. But before he does that, he wants to take care of all the Yadu dynasty, right? Whoever has come, all the Yadu dynasty, we don't know. They're all actually demigods. Whoever was born in the Yadu family were actually demigods. Here it is said. His own departure to his eternal abode. Narada, like Vidura, did not disclose the imminent annihilation of Yadu dynasty. They will not disclose it, but that is the essence. He is going to make sure the entire Yadu dynasty also leaves the earth. Right? They are giving up the earth. They go to Goloka. And the pastime will continue. It's not that Krishna will just stay in Goloka. He will go to another universe, and the same pastime, same Mahabharata, same Kurukshetra will be replayed in a different universe. And that's why he's wrapping up his pastime here. That's what it means. But he directly doesn't tell the Pandavas that, because he doesn't want to agitate them. Here, O king, your uncle Dhritarashtra, his brother Vidura, and his wife Gandhari have gone to the southern hill of Himalaya mountains, where they are under the shelter of the sages. On the banks of Sapta Sarora, that means there are 7 rivers. That's why it is that place where 7 sages are there. Dhritarashtra is now engaged in beginning Ashtanga Yoga by bathing 3 times daily in the morning, noon, and evening, by performing the Agnihotra sacrifice with fire, and by drinking only water. This helps one control the mind and the senses and frees one completely from the thoughts of familial affection. See, we also do Ekadashi, right? We do Nirjala, or at least the Jala. That, why do we do? To control the mind and the senses. The day we don't take our food, right? It is actually, our body is so purified. That day when you chant, it is to perfection. That chanting becomes more powerful. That day it is very easy to engage the mind in Krishna. When food is there in your body, it is very difficult to engage. You can try it out. The day on Dwadashi, the day after Ekadashi, your chanting will be different compared to the day when you've eaten food every day. Eaten food every day, mind is going everywhere. But Ekadashi, Dwadashi, maybe you're thinking of the food. But Dwadashi, the chanting is very good. Even if you chant, there is no energy to chant, that's okay. But even if you chant 1 round, that is very good, right? Here, entire yoga system he is giving. One who has controlled the sitting posture, the yogic asana, and the breathing process can turn the senses towards the absolute personality of Godhead, and thus become immune to the contaminations of the modes of material nature, namely the mundane, goodness, passion, and ignorance. The Bhakti Yoga process, therefore, directly applies to the senses, to the loving service of the Lord. This prohibits the performer from engaging in material activities. This process of turning the senses from the material attachment to the loving transcendental service of the Lord is called pratyahara. And the very process is called pranayama, ultimately ending in samadhi or absorption in pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes we do Ekadashi just to take care of our body. Right? It is good. It is a side effect that your body becomes stronger. But our main intention is to enter into that samadhi. Everything should be pointed at samadhi. If you don't end up with samadhi, there is no point of doing Ashtanga yoga. Right? And that's why the process of yoga is not recommended for Kali Yuga, because there are 8 perfections. By the time a person performs all 8 perfections, he will give up his body or he will lose interest. It is very difficult. And that's why Prabhupada writes in the purport, I think he wrote in the purport somewhere, he says, we don't need all these things. Just sit and chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you will get all these perfection. Just by engaging and hearing to the holy name, you will reach samadhi, you will get that effect of samadhi, to be one with the Lord. When I say one with the Lord, you're not merging into the Lord, just that the mind is completely in Krishna consciousness. That is samadhi. Right? Next, Dhritarashtra will have to amalgamate his pure identity with the intelligence and then merge into the Supreme Being with knowledge of his qualitative oneness as a living entity with the Supreme Brahman. Being freed from the blocked sky, he will have to rise to the spiritual sky. This is very, very important. If you're not paying attention, just for this particular slide, just pay attention. It is very important. The living being, by his desiring to lord it over, it talks about how we enter the world and how we leave the world. The living being, by his desiring to lord it over the material world and declining to cooperate with the Supreme Lord, contacts the sum total of the material world, namely the Mahat-tattva. And from the Mahat-tattva, his false identification with the material world, intelligence, mind, and senses is developed. This covers his pure spiritual identity. By the yogic process, when his pure identity is realized in self-realization, one has to revert to the original position by amalgamating the 5 gross elements and the subtle elements, mind and intelligence, into the Mahat-tattva again. Thus, getting freed from the clutches of the Mahat-tattva, he has to merge in the existence of the Supersoul. In other words, he has to realize that qualitatively he is non-different from the Supersoul, and thus he transcends the material sky by his pure identical intelligence and thus development of spiritual identity, which was attained by Dhritarashtra by the mercy or the grace of Vidura and the Lord. The Lord's mercy was bestowed upon him by his personal contact with Vidura, and when he was actually practicing the instructions of Vidura, the Lord helped him attain the perfection of knowledge or perfection of life. So this is very, very beautiful. It gives you the essence of our life. What is it? Because I wanted to lord over things, I entered into this. I said no to Krishna. I said, my desires are more important than you, Krishna. I don't want to listen to you, Krishna. That is when I enter this material existence. When I'm entering this material existence, the 5 senses, mind, ego, and intelligence develops. Right? It develops, it will surround the subtle body. The spiritual body is there. Spiritual body gets, covered by all these 8 layers. When it covers all that 8 layers, the total loss of that pure identity happens. We forget who we are and we start engaging in the world in that 5 different layers. When we see through those 5 different layers, the world looks different to us. Right? The world looks, the way we interact, and the material modes also are part of that layers. That Mahat-tattva is 26 elements actually. And the modes of material nature also are Mahat-tattva. It is there in Mahat-tattva. Then what happens through this process of yoga or bhakti yoga? We are all practicing bhakti yoga. We don't practice any other yoga. We practice only bhakti yoga. What happens is the purification of all these senses happens. When purification happens, it is illuminating. What is that illuminating? It comes in the mode of goodness. Just give me 1 minute. I'll switch on the light. So what happens is all these 8 layers are opaque, and through that opaque, if you're looking through red, green, and blue glasses, everything will look like that only. Through the process of bhakti yoga, we are cleaning those glasses. When we clean those glasses, and we come from tamo guna and rajo guna to sattva guna. When we come to sattva guna, what happens is all these 8 layers also wants to do the service to adokshaja. It is so pure that it wants to do only service to the Lord. Your mind is saying, hey, why are you watching TV? Go sit and do some bhajan in front of the Lord. Your intelligence is saying, go do book distribution. Don't worry about your situation. It doesn't matter. All that matters is Krishna. So all this senses, today it is pulling us in different direction. That time it will start pulling us towards Krishna. Right? It starts pulling us towards Krishna, and that is when we attain perfection. We start giving up all those 5 elements and the mind, ego, intelligence, and we get out of that Mahat Tattva. It is like a flight. You get out of that Mahat Tattva and you enter into the spiritual sky, where you are in oneness. Prabhupada writes it very beautiful. See, you are same as the spiritual soul in quality wise, but you are different. How? Because you are the Anuatma. You're same, qualitatively you're same, but you're different again. That's what he says. And then finally, the last slide. O king, he will quit his body most probably on the 5th day from today, and his body will turn to ashes. Whose body? Dhritarashtra's body. While outside observing her husband, who will burn in the fire of mystic power, along with his thatched cottage, his chaste wife will enter the fire with rapt attention. Who? Mother Gandhari is going to do Satigamana with her husband, right? Due to the power of his yogic power only, he actually, even the fire lights, see the fire which comes into play here, mystic power, by his power of yoga, his body, he has already left, his mind has already been left, his spiritual body is with Krishna, and then the body, the material body gets into the fire, it lights up fire by the mystic power. Vidura, being affected with delight and grief, will then leave the place of sacred pilgrimage. Vidura is watching all these things, and he is, although he knows that, it is all Krishna, he still feels that distress. This gives us the essence of being in Krishna consciousness. Some people think that if you're in Krishna consciousness, you're not affected by grief or delight. No, we feel it, but we should not take it to a very dark extent, to a longer time. We don't mull over it for a longer time, but we are compassionate. When somebody passes away, we feel that in our heart, but it is not that we feel again happy that Krishna is going to take care of them, right? Having spoken thus, the great sage Narada, along with his Veena, ascended into the outer space. Yudhishthir kept his instruction in his heart, and so was able to get rid of all lamentation. And that ends the purport and chapter 13 of Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, devotees.